Last spring, I went to a bee farm and I prepared to step inside the honeybee's lair. I recognized this as a moment so rare. This was a step forward to fight my fears, fighting back anxious tears. I recalled the childhood stings that had fertilized fruits of caution and fear. The question became, to be or not to be? Is it possible to just be while facing a bee? That figure of fright that triggered me to flee historically? I wanted those bees to symbolize all the fears in me that have been birthed from my birth and are now present in my present. With a wobbly waver, I pick up a hive gently to coax the bee's favor. I want to sink into this moment and savor, standing shoulder to shoulder with fellow neighbors. What a team effort to extract such a delectable sweet flavor. But more than the fruits of the honeybee's labor, how exquisite to taste and see the flavor of God's favor, that grants us the boldness to declare that death has lost its sting and I can stare directly at the sting without being scared. In my suit of white, I was protected from the bee's bite. In a robe of white, Jesus protects us from death's plight. When he died and rose again, sitting in the tomb alive after 2 dreary nights. By his blood our slate is clean snowy white. We are now clothed in glorious garments of white. Every nook and cranny sealed snug tight. No bee or enemy can harm me, no need to fright. We are covered in full circle left to right. God calls us his beloved, his bride. Grooms call their brides honey. I can imagine God opening our heart's doors and calling, honey, I'm home. Indeed, with God, my heart would become home, sweet home. How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Nectar abundant, lavish and running, my cup runs over the brim overflowing. Jesus paid our debts with his life, a ransom beyond money. To use that line again, tackling the tension. To be or not to be, that is the question. Between life and death, a mixed concoction of utter bliss and less than perfect portions, of fruits and fortunes mangled by misconceptions and cognitive contortions. Hamlet grappled with this very thought, uttering those famous words he sought, answers to his inquiries, contemplating he was caught between whether it's better to live or die. What is the reason to live and why? To be or not to be? Hamlet speaks while carrying a skull, a symbol of death, nothingness, null. In Aramaic, Golgotha also means skull, the place where Jesus died for us all. On the cross, Jesus solves that problem, that predicament, our frenzied fears now floating away as fractured figments. He strengthens and supports our spiritual ligaments so that we can walk through whatever comes our way, knowing we're never alone. God is here to stay. Even when we wander and stray away, his love for us constantly remains. Death, you are merely a fling, here for a moment, but you are not our destiny. O death, now where is your sting? O death, you have no final song to sing. When Jesus wore that thorny ring on his head, his brow, he declared the victory for the people in every land and across every sea.